Welcome, everybody, to Catfish Weekly, presented by Whisker Wear Apparel, along with Chuck Davison and Doc Lang. I'm Lyle Stokes. We're having a little bit of issues with Daryl and Jason again, but we're gonna work that out here in a little bit. Even if we got to do it on the phone, we got a little better connection and everything since we're home tonight and not in some motel room and stuff like that where the internet connection's bad. How you guys doing tonight?
Great for a Monday.
Yeah,
For a Monday?
same here.
Oh, man. Well, it's been a pretty tough week, but, it warmed up. I'm thinking the fish are biting. And what do we got? 3 weeks to Monsters on the Ohio.
Yes, sir.
So I know that everybody's looking forward to that. I know Aaron had a live feed the other night. I don't know how much stuff he got accomplished. I seen parts of it. I assume you guys seen some of it.
Yeah, I seen some of it. I watched the whole thing this morning again to see if there was anything I needed to pick up on.
And did you find anything?
Well, I was really trying to, figure out the way this. I guess it's going to be more like a convoy leaving Owensboro from English Park, going to the ramps on the other two pools that we're going to be launching at. And, I'm just trying to figure out if that's going to be time worthy and everything, and I've been plotting out distances and, how far I need to run after I get in the water and all that. But, I just wish that he would let the convoy leave a little bit earlier than 4:45 because, putting us at the ramp, convoy arriving at a ramp at 5:30, that might be pushing it a little bit. It depends on how many boats are going. He explained that may change at the captain's meeting because at the captain's meeting you got to let him know what launch you're going out at, and then he will see how many boats are going to each launch, and then I guess if the time needs to be moved up some to allow everybody to be in the water by 6:30, he'll do that.
Well, one thing is for certain, we all kind of know what we're going to be doing when we get there. A lot of people make their decisions after they've been there for a few days. But Aaron Weekly is scheduled to be on Catfish Weekly next Monday night. So any questions or things like that people need to answered, Aaron will be on here and we can get the answers for all that. And, if you just want to say, hey, to Aaron, I know he'd appreciate it. The guy puts in a ton of work, just like George Young did on his tournament. Aaron's been doing it for a few years, but every year he works harder than the year before to make it as good as it is. And believe me, folks, it is a great tournament fish.
Yep.
Yeah,
I know.
If anything, to me, it seems like the guys trailering will have a little less advantage than the guys going out of English Park. But that's fair to me. If you want to go fish another pool, different depths of water or whatsoever, you're going to have to pay for it time wise.
And, my theory is always been if you're going to trailer, there should be some kind of penalty involved with that. Just my opinion. I don't like trailering to start with, but if you've got to do it, and in some instances you have to do it, and if that's the case, you ought to leave the same time the guys from that boat launch, and that would be your penalty, as however long it takes you to drive and launch to wherever you're going. That, to me, that's a fair way to do it. But everybody has their own way of doing it.
Yeah, this is going to be more of a controlled trailering, and that's why that it seems a little bit different to me because everybody's going to be arriving at just two different launches as a group. There's going to be somebody there monitoring them, so it's not like that there's 25 different launches or more that people can run and launch into, and you don't know if people are getting out of the limits of what waters are supposed to be fished or whatsoever. But this right here seems like it's going to be better than the ones I've been against in the past. I think this right here is going to turn out okay.
Well, one thing Aaron did make clear, and he has all year long, if there's something goes wrong or they lose fish or whatever goes wrong, this is a test deal, and it won't doesn't mean they're going to do it every year. So I think that's a good thing, and you have to try things to know if things will work.
Exactly, and he's not scared to try new things, and that's great, and
I'm pretty sure Aaron's not afraid of too much of anything.
No, he's not. So it's going to be up to the anglers, to make sure that they have the right equipment to keep those fish alive for no matter what amount of time it's going to take to get you across those scales, and not pushing it. I mean, they need to be in awesome shape when they go across those scales. If it's 3 hours later after you get out of the water, they need to be awesome shape in 3 hours later. So everybody needs to do whatever they can to make sure that they're equipped to do so.
Well, Doc, are you all ready to rock on this?
Yep. Yes, I am. So it won't get here quick enough. I like fishing those pools. Normally, I don't do very good down there. I don't know why, but, I've fished those pools for years. We'll see what happens this year.
Right.
We're going to have a good time. I know that.
Oh, absolutely. I got to tell you, we had a blast.
On Mississippi,
down in Memphis. We pre-fished several days with Cindy and Lynn and you and me all in the boat, and I got to tell you, we've had a lot of fun fishing over the years, but this was one of the top ones. I mean, it was just a blast. It's kind of always been a kind of dream of mine to fish with you and Lynn anyhow. And when she decided she was going to go there, we had a chance to do some pre-fishing. She's a hoot in the boat, man. It was an awesome, good time.
Yeah, she brought in that log. At least we thought it was a log until we seen a tail.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, I really enjoyed it, and I hope she can make it to Owensboro. We'll have some more fun down there.
Yeah, we're going to do the same thing again.
Oh,
we're planning on doing it.
Outstanding.
Yeah, I really enjoyed myself. We had a good time.
I mean, and before we get too carried away with this Owensboro tournament down there, Monsters on the Ohio, I want to say, because we had a pretty bad connection with everything last week. George Young and Leslie Reasons Kirkpatrick absolutely put on a hell of a show in Memphis. Now, people can do and say whatever they want, but I know for a fact them guys worked over a year putting that thing together. They worked on it daily, weekly, monthly. They done it. I talked to George numerous times a week, trying to do things and answer any questions that he had or give him suggestions. And I know I wasn't the only one. There was a lot of other guys that did too. And it showed. It was run very well. Everything that needed to be taken care of was taken care of. Even the launch and exiting out of – and I understand it was slow coming out of the river, but the launch went off without a hitch. And when you got nearly 200 boats, it's going to take some time to do that stuff. And I can't say enough about the way they run that, especially for the fact this was the very first tournament they done. And to make it as great an event as it was with that many boats is just unbelievable.
Yeah, it was well thought out. The other thing was the host motel that we had, the Clarion. That was outstanding. I mean, they did anything and everything to make sure that everybody had what they needed. Big shout out to Nona, because she was a lady. Actually, she said she was going to listen to our show. She's the lady that was cooking all the breakfasts every morning, and she was. You get done eating breakfast, and she'd be over there table cleaning it all up and telling everybody, "I hope you have a great day." She was just outstanding. She got up at 1 a.m. on the day of the tournament and cooked all them grab bags for everybody, and That was just outstanding there.
You know, Angela Herndon and her husband, they absolutely was at that motel nearly 24 hours a day. They was part of the security system, and I don't care what time of the day or night you walked out, somebody's driving around that parking lot in a security vehicle. It was very well taken care of. They had just a little bit of issue with their electrical outlets out there, but we was all prepared for that. There was plenty of generators taken down there, and everybody got hooked up and kept their batteries charged. I have never stayed at a motel during a tournament that I was treated so graciously. Anybody worked so hard to make it as best for you as they possibly could. They went out of their way, and man, that JJ Steakhouse has got some of the greatest food that I ever put in my mouth.
Yeah, their food was really good.
We ate there every day.
Yep.
I mean, every day. So that in itself was something. There's no question in my mind that when we go next year, I'm going to be staying right there, and I know I'll get the same treatment that we did this time, and I'm just thrilled about that. There's some places that we go to in tournaments pretty much every year, and some of those places they could step up and take they done down there at the Clarion. It was really good all the way around, and they had a schedule marked out for where people parked and all the stuff. They like George. They planned everything for like 80-some boats in their motel, and then they got 50-some more than what they had scheduled for whatever reason, and they made it happen. They just made it happen.
Yeah, and then they had them semis come in there with the cars, and then there was a bunch of contractors came in, so she kind of shuffled things around. So they made it happen, that's for sure.
Yep, it was really good. I just can't say enough about the whole event and everybody that had anything to do it. And that pyramid is one of the most beautiful places. Now, I don't believe it's as big as the one in Springfield, Missouri, the Bass Pro there. It's just freaking huge. But that is undoubtedly one of the most beautiful places that ever was. And, we never did make it to the top of that thing with all the stuff going on and the two shows and different things. Cindy and I didn't make it to the top of that, but it absolutely was gorgeous inside and out. The people that work for them are outstanding. They're very courteous and helpful. They'll get you anything you want when you're doing the things that we do. And the whole event was just like that. I mean, I don't know. You can call it Southern hospitality. You can call it the people that cares. You do whatever you want, but I've not seen any better run event ever anywhere.
Yeah. I think everybody pretty much enjoyed themselves.
Oh,
there was nice fish caught all week. And then, it seemed like everybody was catching fish.
Yep.
Maybe not the biggest ones.
No, but Bill Parfit and Eagle Bill sure put a good one in the boat. I mean, that was a dandy. They really laid one out, and even if Bill did get a knife in the back of his leg, oh, them guys! If one of them boys ain't getting hurt doing something, something's not right, because there's always one of them bleeding or something. But they get along great. They're great fishermen, and 90-pound fish, any way you cut it's a giant in any body of water. And I'm very happy for them guys, Bill Blankenship and Bill Parfit, to catch that fish and get it put in the Pyramid Aquarium. And some of the guys was whining, "Oh, you shouldn't put that in there." I promise you, that fish will get better care than if it was out in the water it come out of. They take so good a care of them fish in there. They don't want anything to happen to them. I'm very happy for them to do that. It was just a really cool deal. I'm going to try to give they're not going to be able to get their computer to work again tonight, so we're going to try to do a phone interview with them again. It should work a lot better since I'm on my home computer, and we won't have to mess with that internet that I was at that motel with. But we'll see if we can get Daryl and Jason on here now. Jason was still at work a few minutes ago, but we're going to try to make it happen. Daryl.
Yeah.
Hey, this is Lyle. How you guys doing tonight?
I'm doing good. Jason's running a few minutes late. He's not late kind of work, but he's up to play.
That's okay. We'll start, and he can join in when he gets there. So how's everything going after you guys took first place down in Memphis?
I'll tell you what, it took a few days to sink in of actually how many people was there and what we had accomplished. But that was a tournament for all to see there. That was that many boats, that many good tournament anglers, and just the quality of the tournament altogether. It was a great experience.
Well, we was just talking before I called you about how well everything went off, from the motel to the places to eat to the beautiful facility at the pyramid, and all the hard work that George and Leslie put in on that. And it was an extremely well-run event, the whole thing.
No doubt, no doubt. Like we've been to several tournaments in our career here, but when they arranged right up among the best.
I agree. Well, I know last week we tried to do this and we run into some issues with internet problems, and we're having some problems again with getting video on you, but we wanted to go through this stuff again so everybody could see and hear what was going on. So I'm going to turn you over to Doc and let him visit with you a little bit, and then he'll turn you over to Chuck, and we'll try to get through this. And when Jason gets in there, just let us know so we can share some of the questions with him.
All right. Sounds great.
All righty. Thanks for coming on the show. Appreciate it. All right. I got a whole list of questions. I have people emailing me and asking all kinds of questions. So what day did you guys arrive to start your pre-fishing?
If y'all can hear me, I can't hear anybody right now.
Oh,
He
you
said,
can't hear
what
me
day?
at all?
Try that again.
All right.
Okay, what day did you guys arrive to start your pre-fishing?
What day did you guys get down there to pre-fish, Daryl?
We actually had went out the Sunday prior to the tournament, and we didn't do any fishing, so to speak. We just did more just driving around looking at the different waters. We was looking for current, depth, trying to mark fish, which we don't typically mark a lot of fish on the Mississippi River. We was looking more for structure than anything. I think we spent 6 hours out there looking and scanning. We may have fished 15, 20 minutes total for the whole day.
Okay. And then what?
And then I think Thursday afternoon we drove over and put our boat in and just drove around to see kind of where everybody else was doing their pre-fishing. And just see kind of where everybody was looking. And we knew it was going to be crowded, of course, but we just trying to get an idea of how crowded it was going to be in different locations. But after that day there, we didn't really mark anything. We were just more sightseeing and see where everybody was at.
Okay. The day of the tournament, did you guys go upriver or downriver?
We stayed there close to downtown area. We went downriver 5 miles wide exactly. It's about 5-6 miles downriver.
Okay, and you were targeting deep. Were you targeting the deeper water? That's what one of the people said. Did they target deep water or shallow water?
We was kind of in between deep and shallow. I mean, within a mile or so where we was fishing, there was 80, 90 foot of water. But we was more. We knew there was going to be a lot of people in that deep water. Tried to move a little bit away from that, and we was fishing anywhere from, I'd say, 30 foot to 50 foot of water. We didn't really target deeper stuff. We knew there was going to be people all over top of that.
Right.
All involved tournament also.
Now, were you guys anchored down or were you back bouncing?
We was drifting back bouncing all day long. We stayed moving. Like I said, I know that area where we fished had been fished all week long. The what's called the structure that everybody looks for, the good looking stuff. It had been fished hard all week long, and we kind of just targeted in the general vicinity of that, not necessarily right in the middle of the best stuff. 80, 100 yards outside the heavy structure, and try to slow our presentation down and catch a few of them fish that had been caught all week.
Okay. So you were slowing your boat down. Were you trying to cut the in half? Is that what you were trying to do, or did you get even lower than that?
A lot of it depends. When we go out, typically what we'll do is, whatever the current, we'll try to cut it in half. If it's going 2 mile an hour, we'll drift at 1 mile an hour. If the current is going 3 mile an hour, we'll go 1.5 miles. If it's going 4 mile an hour, we go 2 mile an hour. Now, if we get into some, depending on what kind of bite is. Some days they bite really aggressive. You're drifting along there, and all of a sudden they about yank the pole out of your hand and take off. Those days there, we'll tend to go a little bit faster because they are a little more aggressive. They'll chase the bait down a little more. But now, that Saturday, that morning, we had 2 or 3 bites early that they just wasn't taking it really, really hard. So we tried to slow down maybe, and that current was getting probably 3.5, and we tried to keep somewhere between 1.2 and 1.5 that day. So it's a little bit slower than half.
Yeah. Now, are you guys using just strictly your trolling motor, or did you have the big motor running also?
We just used the trolling motor that day. The wind was helping us a little bit. It was blowing up the green thumb, so we was able to do it with just the trolling motor.
Okay.
We have done it. We have put the big motor in gear before we got into gear fishing current. That's especially 4 mile an hour. You try to fish anything heavier than that. Or if the wind's blowing, downstream on you, where you have to use the big motor. We have employed that before.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That's all the questions that I've got. Chuck, he's all yours.
Congratulations, man. Y'all, that was a very impressive finish y'all pulled off.
Thanks a lot. We enjoy going tournaments like that where the big crowds are. We're just happy that we had the big bite, the big fish to show everybody. We are proud of every fish we get in every tournament. To the caliber we got that day, they're a lot of fun to pull out a live boat and go off.
Yes, a couple of weeks before that, didn't y'all fish a little tournament up that way?
Yeah, we fished a tournament, the Cabela tournament, a few weeks before that. The conditions that weekend was a lot tougher. The river was higher, and the fish just didn't bite very well. I think we had we did a 3-fish tournament, and we didn't get the big bite like we was looking for, but we won it by not by much. I think we had like 69 pounds, I believe that was right. And 3 fish.
Exactly, and y'all had big fish, and it was in the 30s maybe?
Do what now?
Y'all had big fish at the tournament. What was it, 29 or something like that?
We had a fish for like 34 pounds. That was the big fish we caught. And there was a guy that actually won the big fish in the tournament, like 35 or 36.
Okay. So
2 fish over 30 pounds that caught that whole tournament.
yeah, and I heard a lot of people talking about that tournament, and they were kind of thinking that the bite might head in that direction. Which I'm very glad it didn't, because there was a very good show put on. And we was taking guesses during the Catfish Weekly show on Thursday at the Pyramid. And a lot of people was saying around, 150, 160. My guess was 150 was going to win it. what was your thoughts on what size basket was going to win it going into it after fishing that tournament a couple of weeks prior?
I had the same question posed to me from several people there earlier that week. Asking what kind of a weight it's going to take to win it. And I gave two scenarios. I said if the fish bite really good, it was going to be somewhere around 160 to 180. And I said if they don't bite very good, you're going to need about 110 to 120. And like I said, for the most part, it wasn't necessarily just a great bite. And we was lucky we got our two big fish and was able to hit that 150 mark.
Yeah, I think there was such a big skipjack slick going down that river. I think it just kind of put them in a little feeding frenzy. I mean, that many great fishermen being in one place at one time. I thought it would be a long time coming before something like that happened. And George Young Jr. Threw this together within a year, and everybody I talked to was very excited about it. And it looks like catfishing is getting on its way. How do you feel about that?
Dexter just showed up, so he'll chime in here too in a second. I'll speak first on that. It is well on its way. 10 years ago, we have never dreamed we've been weighing in fish sitting in front of the pyramid like that. I think the caliber of fishermen are getting to be better. The gear we've used a little bit better. Just the general knowledge of everybody fishing out there is a lot better. What impressed me is as many fish as is caught, and as warm as it was that day, very few fish were lost. It hadn't been that many years ago when you always heard horror stories of having tournaments where people was losing, every fisherman's losing two fish for, whatever reason. And, to have 184 boats, I never heard exactly what the number was that weighed in, but only have 7 fish out of all that didn't make it is a true testament to everybody. I want to say thank you personally to all the sponsors that helped put this together. A tournament of that size doesn't just happen, because someone put one on. There's so much backing that went on. These sponsors that contributed, the Bass Pro, they helped out a bunch. Like I said, if it wasn't for them, we would never have a tournament like this.
That's 100% correct.
How much?
Finally made it, guys. I apologize for being late.
Hey, welcome, Jason. Glad to have you.
Work gets in the way of fishing, for sure. But definitely catfishing is on the right direction. The tournaments are getting bigger. The sponsorship dollars are getting more and more involved. Like Daryl said, I think you're seeing the sport grow. And when I say grow in the number of people that are trophy catfishing that are also taking care of the fish, catch and release. For the longest, people, if you catch a big fish, you had to catch it and throw it in the back of your truck and throw it around for a day or two to show everybody. And now it's almost like bragging rights where you say, I catch so many this big, I just throw them back. It's not a big deal. And you see a lot more people say we do the catch and release thing. And that's good for the sport. I know the laws are changing to protect it, and that's going to go a long, long way when it comes to tournament catfishermen, because if you can go catch fish of this caliber, it sure draws attention. I've had more people contact me this week that are wanting to get into something like this. They had no idea it existed.
Great. How far off do you think we are from an elite type series with like a 50 boat field where the same 50 boats, with an exception of an alternate per team, start competing against each other, with an 8 tournament per year series?
I don't think it's real far away. I mean, it's not something that we're going to be able to just do in a year. it'd be difficult. I think it's going to take national involvement, regional areas, and kind of tier it like that. It's going to take, I don't know if you could ever organize all the tournaments, maybe work out some point system amongst them. But is it doable? Yes. Do I have the blueprint to do it? Not exactly. That's kind of up for debate. But I think it's going that direction. I think we're real similar to where, the bass tournaments were, the crappie tournaments were. And it's just navigating through that. But, yeah, I think it's coming. Now, how soon is it going to be? That's kind of hard to say for sure. Phil, he may have input on that.
I'm like Jason. I think it is very well possible. The biggest, from a fisherman standpoint, most, I don't know of anybody that fishes catfish professionally for a living. Most of us are working class guys. We go to work and, we work overtime and we do everything we can. We save our vacations up for fishing tournaments and stuff like that. To get to that elite status where in order to do that, you have to move around quite a bit to different regions, different bodies of water, and that becomes an issue in itself. There, the sponsorship is going to have to grow to a point to where possibly somebody could fish, catfishing for a living. That to me, I think that's one of the biggest hurdles we've got to cross there. Just from a time and money standpoint, owns their own business and has people that works for them where they don't have to be at work every day. That would be the biggest thing I see standing in the way right now.
Okay, I got another one. How far off do you think we are from being in everyone's living rooms on Saturday or Sunday mornings with a nationally televised show broadcasting a lot of these tournaments week in and week out?
I'd say up any time. It's going to, like I said, once again, it's just going to take the sponsorship dollars and somebody with the capability of doing the filming and editing to do it. I mean, we have filmed a few shows, and they're not. We go out and fish, and some days we have days like we did Saturday, where everything comes together, and you can put on a show with one day's fishing. But now we have filmed in the past where we went for a month straight worth of weekends, 4 weekends in a row, just trying to get a few minutes here and there, and it doesn't work out. I mean, there's a lot of work going behind this filming that people don't understand. It's not an issue of just, hey, we're going to go fish tomorrow, we're going to make a show. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But I think it's very well possible, and I'd love to be a part of it. I think, like you say, every Saturday morning or whatever it may be, that could have been yesterday. And it's just going to take somebody with some sponsorship dollars and the connection, as far as television, and to make it a return on investment for the sponsors. And if they can model it in a way that there's a return on investment for the sponsors to have the show, then it comes down to just putting GoPros in the boat and editing, a good show. Because I guarantee you people want to see that, they like to see that. And I think they're interested in looking for something, something like that. So, if we can prove return on investment that someone can put together a show and put sponsors, when it comes down to that, it's just about business, and I think that catching big catfish is a draw that the public definitely interested in watching for sure. So me and Jason talked about past points, and actually people tell us before, everybody wants to try to get that big fish. Everybody, would like to get this big fish. But, we probably have just as many or more people that come by to say, how do you catch catfish, period? I just want to go catch catfish to have me a fish fry. That video series, or if that's what you want to call it, I think it'd be great just to scale down and
have one of them shows where today we're going to go out and chase, channel catfish for the frying pan kind of a deal. Because there are by far a lot more anglers out there that are after that caliber of fish instead of these big fish. Like I said, don't get me wrong. I enjoy catching the big fish, but looking at it from a success standpoint, that would be something that whoever does this needs to do. Needs to key in on.
Exactly. Well, that's all I got for y'all tonight, and congratulations. I'm gonna pass y'all off to Lyle. He's got plenty for you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, guys, we're the whole catfishing community is so proud of you guys for the way that you handle yourself, and to go in there amongst 184 of the top anglers in the United States and win that event. It was outstanding, and we're all very proud of you. It's just amazing the things you guys have accomplished. I remember when you all never used to drift, you used to do all your fishing by anchor, and that's kind of a thing of the past now.
We was, like you said, we used to sit on the anchor all day long, and we was pretty good at it. But, we took the butt whooping from Phil King several times, and actually watching drift fish right beside us. And I told Jason, I said, if we're going to do this and be successful, we're going to have to learn how to do that drifting stuff. And, we've told the story before, we said we're going to learn to go drifting. We'd go drifting for 30, 40 minutes. We'd catch a fish. That's the heck of this. Go throw the anchor. Let's go catch the fish. And literally one day we was at our house. We was going to go fishing. I said, Jason, we're going to learn this drifting? He said, yeah. And I said, put the anchor at the house, and we're going to go with nothing but drifting rods. I said, we're either going to catch fish or we're going to die trying.
That's the way I've done with circle hooks. It took me 3 years to get the hang of them because I couldn't lay off from setting the hooks. And finally, if you quit taking them, you'll have to learn how to use them circle hooks, or you'll quit fishing with them one.
That's right. Yeah, I agree. You talk about anchoring, versus drifting. It's a bigger bite. Drifting is a great way to do it, but we had the a couple of the Covington tournaments that they had at Cabela's this year, and it was a real tough bite. We ended up probably back on the anchor, almost half the day, because that's why we were able to put the fish in the boat. So it's kind of it's something that you got to develop. If you're a strong drifter and a weak anchor person, then you need to put those drifting rods up and focus on anchoring a few trips, because I think you've got to have them all in your arsenal to be competitive today. 18 years ago, you might not have needed that, but now today, I think you just got to be well-rounded.
Well, would you guys agree that it takes more of a universal fisherman in today's competitive catfishing than it ever did before?
Definitely. I'll say that right up front. The tournament at Covington, we would not have won had we not anchored that day. I mean, we drifted for most of the morning and just couldn't get the bites we were looking for. The bites was real light. They pick his bait up and drop. And that's what we decided. They're not feed actively. It's nearly a dead crawl, and we threw the anchor out, anchored up. We threw out 2 rods, anchored down with, and we put on a little bit lighter weights and walked baits back, at a real slow pace. Try to give them fish a little bit more time to look at that bait, and it paid off. So yes, you have to be able to do all the methods of fishing, whether it be anchoring, drifting, walking baits, whatever it is you do. You got to be able to. You got to be well-rounded to do them all.
I agree. To be competitive in tournament catfishing, I agree. I've got some questions on here from the guys that are in chat. James Beckett would like to know how much weight it took in the current that was in Memphis for you guys to be able to drift that.
How much weight on a line?
Yes, on your rods.
Just what, 3.5 mile an hour current, and about 40 water, and we were using either a 6-ounce weight or an 8-ounce weight.
That's exactly what we was doing. Exactly.
And that's relative to your size of bait. meaning you could take a large piece of bait and make that same spot require you to use 12 ounces. But this is just it wasn't a huge piece of bait. We weren't running huge bait that day. We just running average size, what I'd call, 2-inch steaks, 2-3-inch steaks, 2-inch steaks, skipjack head, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Just on a pound and a half skipjack and fish it, almost whole. They'll just fillet it every different way. But no, that was, for us, that was, I'd say just a normal to smaller size bait with about a 6-ounce weight.
Yep. I had, in the fast water we was in, I had to go to an 8 ounce, but when up in the shallower water where the current wasn't so swift, 6 ounce was more than enough.
That's right.
But we had so much fun down there, it wouldn't have made any difference. Sent me a message on Facebook, and he said, "Tell these guys they should come fish.
I'm live.
Come fish the Channel Cat water up north on the Mississippi. Maybe somebody'd have a chance with you." And what he's talking about, Daryl and Jason, is from the Missouri line north in Iowa. Hiccup Dam is some of the greatest channel cat fishing on the Mississippi River, and we absolutely have some wonderful tournaments up there above Keokuk in some really good channel cat water. And these guys like to see you all up there.
Definitely. Just trying to get up there, and we just got to put it on our calendar. That's the big thing we've got to do. Just look at the year and try to plan one and make it.
Right.
That's something we've kind of got on our bucket list to do too.
It is. It's kind of like me in Calamus. I'd like to go over there and fish that sometime. I never have, but I'd love to. It just hasn't worked out to where I can. I have an interesting message here on our chat from Scott Woody. He says, do you guys think that there is a possibility of an 8-tournament series in any of these tournaments that might take place at night?
You're talking about the Elite Series tournament and then one of them be at night?
Yeah, to have a big tournament series, and I know there's a couple of guys working on some of this stuff now. And do you think there's a chance that any of the tournaments that they would put on with a mega payout would be night tournaments?
I don't know. They have some night tournaments scattered around. They have pretty good turnout from a spectator standpoint. You've got to obviously, try to incorporate that. I wouldn't rule it out at all. A lot of it probably depends on the body of water, because certain bodies of water, you hear that they can't catch a fish in the daytime, but at nighttime they tear them up. So I think it would be, body of water dependent for sure.
Right. I know.
Our biggest concern about night tournaments is, of course, is safety, and should be everybody. If you ask me, would we ever have a night tournament at Memphis, Tennessee? My answer would be no. The Mississippi River at night, there's just too many things that go wrong, too many dangers. It's with barges and trees as big as there is that comes out of that river. We just don't want to put ourselves in that position, and I sure wouldn't want to put 50 boats out on a river like that.
Or 150.
Now, on lakes, I'd love to do a Lake Weaver night. Good blast.
Well, that would be a lot of fun, and I think that the safety factor would stop a lot of them. Now, I did fish a tournament in Brunswick, Missouri, on the Missouri River with 98 boats, I believe, this year. We were just talking about, Daryl. We run into getting trees hung between the motor and the back of the boat twice that night, and stuff like that to go on. And I love fishing at night, but I'm to the point I'm not sure I want to do too many more of the competitive tournaments at night, just because things get amped up when you're in a tournament situation. You got to put fish in the boat. You got a limited amount of time to do it. And when that sun goes down, if you're in unfamiliar water, it changes the whole outlook on what you do.
And it will. I mean, we've voted, going through our fishing spot from the Mississippi River before it starts. And, I don't care how familiar you are with it during daylight. When that sun goes down and you can't see, you put on a spotlight, you get lost in that river in a heartbeat. If it wasn't for GPS and these units that we can see the maps on, you'd be running straight and thinking with no difference.
I agree 100%. I really do. Those GPSs, they are so accurate and so good of a to have on a boat. To tell you the truth, I don't know how we done it all them years without that good equipment that we have now.
I agree. Just as a word of caution to anybody out there that's listening, though the maps that you have on those GPSs aren't exactly true. I mean, the Mississippi River changes; these sandbars change from year to year, and there are times where you look on your map, it'll show you up on the bank when you're out in the middle of the river. So, don't take that map as gospel and expect to be water there. You still got to do your due diligence and make sure that you stay safe.
That's exactly right. And a lot of these Navionics or whatever kind of card that you're using have updates, and they update them several times a year sometimes, and you need to make sure that all your updates are up to speed. And like you say, especially the Mississippi and the Missouri rivers, they'll change 2 or 3 times a year sometimes, depending on water conditions.
Yep, we agree. We had a scenario one time. We were fishing a tournament, traveling to our spot, and we were, I hate to use the word, arguing with our GPS, but it was a buoy that had broke free. And we, of course, you don't know it, and so it had us, we thought we were fine. And the buoy was floating free, and I hate to use the word almost misled us, but almost misled us. We thought, well, we're still outside the red buoy, we're fine. Well, the red buoy was up in 4 foot of water.
Right.
So it was, we were, you don't really think about that, a buoy being broke free or, lodged on the top of something,
Doc fished with us, Cindy and I, down at Memphis, and we actually seen 2 red buoys that had broke loose.
Go by us. Yeah.
Go by us while we was fishing. I never seen 2. I've seen one once in a while, or one that's got away or something, but to see 2 floating down the river was kind of unbelievable.
Oh, yeah. You got to watch out for it. Because, if everybody had their fish in the river, you got to respect it. You got to give it what is it, 2 words, you want to call it. It's not like the Ohio River. It's not like the Tennessee River. We've been on the Missouri River there up the north, and it's got probably as much current as we would have been in. So I'd say it's the same as Mississippi.
Yeah, just not quite as wide as it is in Memphis. I fished the Mississippi and Missouri both nearly my whole life, and I've told people for years about the current that we have on these rivers, and they're used to 1.5 miles, 2 mile an hour current or something like that. And you get up around 6, 7 miles an hour. If you haven't been on something like that, you need to have a day or two to get used to it and adjust to the things you have to do to be safe. Ricky Poole says, what do you guys foresee that would be the determining factor that would decide which lakes throughout the country where big tournaments would take place? Rivers, too.
I think that's probably going to come down to if you had a sponsor that was big enough to contribute, and they themselves could use it. A lot of the money that comes in is these Chamber of Commerce in these cities. So I think that maybe a combination of both. The Chamber of Commerce is in cities that can help support because they want the draw to stimulate their economy. Obviously people want to catch big fish and catch them consistently. And there's definitely waters, in Texas, Tennessee River system, Ohio River, Mississippi River, and then even several of the rivers out east, or the lakes out east. Those for sure. I'm not real familiar with if there's, as far as California and out that far, I don't know what type of big buoys they've got. Me personally, it's going to come down to, I think it's going to come down to sponsorship dollars and where you can consistently catch fish that people would tune in on Saturday morning to watch. I think that also is just your facilities at these locations that get on these big tournaments. That was one thing that made the Memphis tournament as successful as it was that you had the ramp capacity, you had the Bass Pro, facilities there. It's stuff like that make them, come off and successful. The Monsters on the Ohio tournament, they're Owensboro, they've got great facility. It's centrally located, got good water to fish, and the towns support it. So, I mean, it takes, like I said, it takes a lot of different things to make them successful. And for someone to put on this elite series, they're going to have to do a lot of work outside just the tournament itself to get ready.
I agree 100%. And while we're talking about that stuff, we talked about how great everybody participated in making the Mississippi River Monster such a good tournament. And I would like to say on that point that I have never been anywhere that I seen a town get behind a tournament like Owensboro does, Aaron, and that tournament now. Now, with that being said, there's a little town up in Missouri called Brunswick where they had the big night tournament this year, and that town was unbelievably behind this tournament. I mean, they did everything in the world for them, but it's on a lot smaller scale than what Owensboro is. But Aaron gets a lot of support from that town, and that just goes to show how much fishing and the fishermen mean to those communities when they get behind them guys like that.
There's no doubt. I mean, you look at his tournament. I don't know what Polk County ends up to do this year for that tournament, but if you got 150 plus boats, showing up, that's minimum is supposed to be 2 people per boat. That's 300 plus. If they bring family, say you bring in 400 people to a town for 2 or 3 days at a time, that's a lot of money. They spend a lot to gain there, and if they come out and they roll out the red carpet, people are going to go back and spend vacation time there. That's what they like to do. So, I mean, it's a lot of free fishing goes into this. I'd say that right now that there's been several people up there free fishing for that tournament, spending their money in town. So it's a big economic advantage for these towns to stand behind these tournaments like that.
Well, I agree. And, we go down there. We was in Memphis for a week. We bought every meal out. We bought all our gas for the boat and the truck. We bought motel rooms. Everything that we needed, we got while we was there. Other than the stuff we needed to fish with and the stuff that we needed to do our shows with, we bought everything while we was there. And when we go to Owensboro, it'll be the same way. We're not going to, unless somebody says, hey, let's have a cookout one night, and I'd be right on the middle of that. But for the most part, I know, Doc, I got to eat. I can't. But when we go, we buy everything in that town, and we try to support them as much as it can. And I know those gas stations and those motels and those restaurants, they all appreciate that because and that Clarion, I'm pretty sure we done them a really good deal because they was booked up.
Oh yeah. I think there was something that I've only seen it in Aaron's, and I'm sure I apologize if there's other times to do this. So I don't. If there are other tournaments that do this, not mention them. I don't mean anything by it. But the Monsters tournament we fished, I think it's the winner of the big fish. There's a restaurant there. If you had a dinner from the restaurant, that you won an additional, I don't know exactly what it was. That would be neat to see at certain venues, whether you get gas at the Shell gas station or you eat at the whatever restaurant, you qualify yourself. You're just like if you have.
Oh, yeah.
What was that, 4 years ago or something? They had that deal where if you ate there, they give you a thing and they done a drawing or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. maybe that's what I'm thinking about.
I know we went out there and ate out there, and when we walked in, everybody that I seen was a fisherman. You know, I'm sure there was other people that was in there eating that night, but every table I looked at had somebody there that I knew from the fishing industry, and that was an outstanding deal. Maybe they can get that thing going again. We'll talk to Aaron about that next week. We're going to have him on here with us next week and see what he's got going on that. But you know, last year at the meeting, you guys wasn't there last year, was you?
No, sir.
Yeah, they had a dinner someplace. They had the Boogaloo barbecue guy down there, and maybe that was right at the weigh-in place or something. I don't remember, but man, that guy's got it going on. And believe me, Daryl and Jason, if there's good food around, I'm going to find it. I can sniff it out just like an old dog. We had such a good time down there last week, and I know I everybody that I talked to is all geared up for going down to see the Monsters and seeing Aaron and all those people down there, and it's got to the point they got 2 host motels down there now, and that's a good thing, and maybe the parking lot won't be quite so congested. But are you guys fishing the Monsters this year?
Right now, we don't have plans to. We had the big certain terms that we could fish this year, and we're geared up to do the Cabela's tournament this year. So unless something changes, we don't have plans to.
I understand, and that's the same way with a lot of us throughout the country. There's only a certain number of stuff that you can make, and you can't make them all. And I know you guys get people hollering at you all the time, why don't you come here or come here? And sometimes it just doesn't work out. Personally, I would like to go out in Kansas and fish some of the tournaments they have out there, and I'd love to go fish the tournaments up in Iowa. Some of those, I know that they just had a really good one up there, the Iowa Championships they called it, I think last weekend, and some of those things I'd like to make and attend. But you know, after you come back from a week like we had down there in Mississippi or in Memphis and try to get rested up and geared up for the next one, there's one in St. Louis I think this weekend coming up or next weekend. And, you know, you can only make so many of them and stay on your toes and get bait and all this. It's a lot of work doing tournaments.
It is. And we're not taking away anything from the Monsters in Ohio. It's, like I said, it's one of the top 3 tournaments in the nation. So anybody listening, it's definitely one to make if you can. Like I said, the town's amazing. Aaron puts on an amazing show, and like I said, we regret that we aren't going to be able to make it, but wish everybody the best of luck that does go.
Well, that's a great thing. You know, when we go to these tournaments, and it doesn't matter if it's me or if it's Chuck or Doc or if it's Jeff Dodd or who it is, we want to fish against the best that's down there, and it'll be like Memphis. There'll be a really, really good accumulation of some of the top fishermen in the nation.
Without doubt. And that's one of the, the who's who, so to speak. They turn out for those big tournaments like that.
They do.
Monsters is one of those for sure.
I agree. And, I hope that we can get things lined out. I want to fish some of the Cabela stuff. I haven't done any of theirs for a while, and I'd like to try to get involved with that next year and do some of their stuff. But you got to pick and choose, like you say, because you can't make them all and figure out what you want to do and do that. And I still enjoy fishing the small tournaments,
Oh, yeah. Well, like we got a tournament, a little series, I guess, or a club over here on the what's called West Tennessee Catfish and Anglers.
Mm-hmm.
So what is it? Yeah, Western Tennessee.
Yep.
And they just started the past few years, and it is a very enjoyable tournament to fish. They're small, but don't let it fool you. There's really good fishermen fishing it, and we expect you to hear a lot more about that one in the next few years.
Oh, I hope so. I know they've been doing a really good job down there, and and I hear nothing but good things out of them guys. So I'm hoping they get things lined to where they can expand and make it bigger. And competition in the sport of tournaments is just like it is in sales. It's good for the sport, and the more competition we have, the bigger and faster and better it'll grow.
Oh, yeah.
Well, listen, guys, I know we had a rough week last week. I think this week was a lot better, and I can't thank you guys enough for coming on here, spending 2 weeks in a row so we can get this done. And again, congratulations on winning the Mississippi River Monsters, the first annual, and I'm personally looking forward to seeing you down the road here before long.
Good. I appreciate everything that you do for the sport.
Well, thank you, and you know, Chuck and Doc, they've been a great asset to the show. Chuck's been with us since near the beginning, but we brought Doc in, and he's really helped us and picked up the thing. But with guys like you being at the top of the leaderboards time after time after time is helping our sport grow. And thank you again for what you do for the sport.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
All right, guys, we'll be talking to you.
All right, guys. See you later.
Thanks a lot, guys.
All right, Daryl and Jason Masingale, winners of the Mississippi River Monsters tournament and many, many other tournaments. These guys, they really got it going on. They're good people, work really hard at what they do, and it shows. They just keep knocking it out time after time after time. So very happy about all that. What have you got going for stuff this evening, Chuck?
But I don't have a whole lot going on. Just going to start getting ready to head to Owensboro, and that's about all I got on my mind. I can't even think about anything else.
I can understand that. You know,
Love you, Dave.
We're talking about it every day here at my house. You know, and worried about bait, worried about this, worried about that, and getting things lined out. And I'm trying to get new banners made for the Catfish Weekly stuff and get Doc's head installed in the new banner, change colors, and do some of this. You know, I got to tell you, boys, it's really hard to get anybody to do that stuff. It has stuff to do in different formats. Everybody can do the JPG thing, but to get them to do in vector and PNG and 3 or 4 others, finding somebody to do that is really hard. But I think Aaron really hooked us up today. We're trying to get all that done, so we'll get new banners and maybe some T-shirts made and stuff to take to Owensboro with us if everything goes right. We got some sponsors that's going to kick in on some of the stuff and get their name put on the banner and the shirts with us. So I think it's going to work out to be really, really a nice deal. We're wrestling around, though, trying to get it done in time to go down there.
Time's ticking.
It is every day, man.
Coming down.
It's just got to, and man, I know that it's just getting closer and closer, but you want to get the stuff done, and you think of something, and you think of it at the last minute. But some of this stuff, I tell you, I've been working on. How long have we been working on getting your head on the banner, Doc?
Probably about 4 or 5 months.
It's been a long time, and I've contacted numerous people, and it doesn't matter what you ask them to do. Some of them, you try to send them the image, and they can't open it up, or whoever their company is won't let it go through, and you fight with them guys. They won't let them take emails. You have to use it through their website. But like I say, I think I found a guy down there in Owensboro that's going to get it done, and we're really excited about getting that done. And you know, we'll get some T-shirts made, maybe give some of them away down there or something. And I just got a message from Jim Sparks. He kind of forgot about the show tonight, so we're going to try to split up next week's show with Jim Sparks and Aaron Wheatley. And if we run over a little bit, that'll be okay. And if we run over too much, we'll get one of them, or get Jim on the next week or something. But we want to get Aaron to tell us all the information and anything we need to know about fishing the monsters and anything that changes. And we want to get Jim and Sheila on here, if Sheila will get on with him, and tell us about the bait situation and all the stuff that they handle down there, because I know you can get your license, you can get your bait, you can get skipjack. He's got live goldfish. He's got all kinds of stuff in there, and we want everybody to know that that's where it's going to be. And we will be doing a live show out of Bass and More Thursday before the tournament. So Thursday afternoon, you guys come in and visit with us and sit down and talk to us for a little while. This will be our 3rd year at Bass and More. And Jim and Sheila is getting a new building. I think they're going to try to be in the new building before Monsters tournament, and it'll be right there real close to the ramp. So that'll be handy for everybody. And I know they're lined up to get the skipjack in. And if you don't have an order with them, get a hold of Jim at Bass and More. You can contact them through Facebook, or you can call them and get your order in for those skipjacks, because the last thing you want to do is go down there and not be able to get any bait. And he'll take good care of you. You won't find any better service in any bait tackle shop I've ever been in.
When are we supposed to have Jody Harrison on? He's coming up pretty soon, isn't he?
Let me check. Hang on.
That's from Fish Life, right?
Fish Life, yeah. Jody Harrison with Fish Life is going to be on Catfish Weekly October the 17th.
Awesome.
I have talked to Jody, and I think that this is going to be really a cool deal. He can tell us all about how they run the tournament weigh-ins and all the stuff that they do. And by the way, before I forget it, Jody and Daniel Parsons got Winter Blue on Wheelers lined up again for this year. So that's a big, exciting thing for everybody to look forward to. But Jody not only does the running of the tournaments, they have the Fish Life products that you add to your live well water. They have the oxygen systems and all the stuff. And we're going to get in on all the information on that and let him tell us how to get it, what to use, how all that stuff works. So it's going to be awesome to have Jody on here. We've got several weeks of monster stuff going on here, but Jody's a really good guy. He works really hard in the fishing industry, and I think that's going to be an outstanding show.
Yeah, I was just going to say, with this, I know the weigh-in line's going to be long, just like it was last year, and like, the Memphis tournament. So, right now is a good time, if somebody's got the money to go ahead and invest to keep those fish alive and make sure they're ready. Just call Jody, hit him up on, Messenger, ask him questions. He'll tell you exactly what you need, what it's going to cost you. And he may have other ideas for you. He's been doing this research for 5 years. If anybody can tell you how to keep a fish alive and keep him healthy in a weigh-in line for, 2 or 3 hours, he's going to be the man to do it.
Yeah, I agree. Jody has been doing this not only with catfishing for the last few years, but he's been doing the bass tournament stuff for some time. And I'm really excited about having him on here. And I will mention that any of the viewers think that we should try to get on there, we will try to get any guest on that you guys think we need. The problem is some of them doesn't have the internet or the computer or whatever to do these. And we had Daryl and Jason on before, and it worked just like clockwork. But this is the second week in a row we tried to get them hooked up and just couldn't make it happen. So we done a phone thing, and I know that's not quite as good, but it's Daryl and Jason Masingale. It doesn't matter. You got to talk to them guys. I mean, they know everything.
Yep.
We needed to ask them more technical stuff about how deep they was putting their bait, or if they was fishing it right on the bottom and different things. But I get so excited talking to them guys, and they're such good people that they make an outstanding show every time they're on with us.
Yeah, they'll tell you if you ask them too.
That's exactly right. And so will Big Daddy, Jeff Dodd, and a lot of them other guys. If you ask them that, they're not going to lie to you. They might not tell you the exact fishing spot, but if you give them a direct question, most all the time they'll give you a correct answer, and they're nice about it. They're not snide or anything. These guys want the sport to grow.
Yeah, and they'll tell you how to go find the structure.
Right, all that stuff, and that's what it's going to take is to make it better for everybody.
Yeah, the big question last week was upriver or downriver. Nobody ever did answer that question. It just didn't happen.
No, not really. And I know some guys that went a long, long way upriver.
I did.
But, Doc and I looked around up. We didn't really find what we was looking for. And we found some fish below. We didn't have to go very far to find them. No. We had some good fish found. We just couldn't get them to go. But we caught fish. We had a great time. And,
I lost a rod. Boy, I would have been devastated if he'd have taken that thing. Boy, he flipped it right out of my hand, though.
We went so far, the water temperature changed 3 degrees.
3?
Wow.
Yeah, we went 30 miles on Friday.
Man.
As soon as we ran out of gas, we went upriver, so we knew if we was going upriver and we ran out of gas, we would have plenty enough
to get
on
back.
Our other tank to get back, because both tanks are the same.
Right.
So we ran out of gas on one tank immediately. Well, we fished around that area a little bit, but wasn't using the big motor, and then headed back down and ended up having a half a tank left when we got back.
Yeah, it doesn't hear as much coming down as it does going up.
Yeah, absolutely not. I was in a panic because I'm like, I want to go look at that area, but if we go over there and look at that, we're going to be using more gas, and we're not going to make it. We're going to miss the captain's meeting. So when we got back, I said, let me look and see how much we got. And it says, is that a half a tank? I'm like, man. Well, we found some really good stuff up that way. We just didn't have time to, do too much investigating. We marked some really good fish up there.
Absolutely. There was big fish all over. I mean, everywhere we went, we seen big fish and medium-sized fish and the small guys, and pretty much caught fish every spot we went.
Yeah.
We needed, and that's okay. You don't always catch the big ones. We'll try a little harder maybe down at Monsters.
Well, every time we would find a really good spot, we would get in there, start catching fish, and here come that barge. We need to get in there, guys. I'm like, oh, really? And they'll get in there and they'll churn that water up. And you're like, that fishing hole ain't going to be good for a little while.
Well, those barges in that kind of current, they really do churn it up. A lot of people haven't seen that, and it's kind of hard to understand. But yeah, they really do. And when they open them babies up, that's a lot of power, a lot of turning that water and stuff on, and it's just different. A lot of rivers don't have barges, and a lot of rivers have barges that are not nearly as big as what they have down there.
Right.
That's a whole new deal. Like I was saying a while ago, I fished that Mississippi River my whole life, but it's nothing like down there where we was at Memphis. So the river is completely different. I just got a message from Cliff Miller, said Alex and Pat Muling ran halfway to the Gulf, he thinks, down at Memphis. They must have went way on down there. And, I know a lot of guys put a lot of miles on looking for fish. And I think for the most part, Doc, I think what they're trying to do is get in virgin water that nobody had
been working,
bothered or been working as hard as what some of that was working. What do you think?
Yeah, and actually that's what we were doing. We were trying to stay out of – we'd seen where everybody was working, but we were marking some good fish up in that one area right there. Just couldn't get them to go that morning.
Yep. It is what it is. It's still a lot of fun. We had a respectable finish. I think it was 58th out of 184. My goal was the top 20. We missed it by a little bit, but there's going to be a big crowd down at Owensboro for that.
Well, Aaron Wheatley just posted the list for the back of the T-shirt. There's 139 boats.
139 boats entered on time to get in there.
Yep, to be on the back of the T-shirt.
That's pretty neat. Okay, Doc, what do you got for a tip for us tonight and any other thing you got going on?
Well, I got some results. JKV results. I think that's down in. Actually, I think that's down in Owensboro. Richie Blakely and Smitty had 71.5 pounds. Second was Mark Northerner, Andrew Savage with 68.14 pounds. Their big fish was a 32-pounder. Keith Terrence and Gary St. Clair was third with 51.1. Ohio Hills tournaments. First place, Jerry and Kelly, 29.6. This came out of Mason, West Virginia. Tom Kinney and Gabe, 28.2. Big fish, a 24.2-pound flat from that team. Third place, Bink and Janet Fox, 27.8 pounds. And for that series, the anglers of the year were Willie and Stacy Smith.
Very nice. Congratulations.
So Willie's still knocking on the doors. Doc's tip tonight, guys, when you're unstrapping your boat after you get to the ramp, take just a little bit of time to check the angles of your transducers. Look them over, make sure that they're parallel. When you are traveling down the road, you hit a chuck hole, that'll change that angle, especially if you hit a big chuck hole. The other thing I try to tell people to do is take a rag, be it dry or wet. I prefer a wet rag, and wipe the face of your transducers down. They get dirt, they get dust, and one of the worst things that they can get on them is tar. And what it'll do is it'll leave a spot. You think you're marking fish, and it'll leave a spot on your screen. So wipe those things down, and that it'll give you a lot better, clear image on your unit. And that's Doc's tip for the night.
Man, that's a great tip, Doc, because a lot of people, they have transducers, unless a log hits them or they bend them up, loading them or something, they just forget them. It's a plug and play deal, and they never think about them. And that's a great idea, and everybody should go out and check those transducers and make sure that they're to the level they need to be. And I do that after hitting them logs and not having no finder all night. But, and make sure that the mounts and everything's tight and check them to be clean. That's a great idea, because I don't believe I've ever checked them. And it'd be worth just leaning over or laying down on the ground, taking a look up there to see what you got. Maybe some Windex or whatever it is that you clean them with. If a wet rag works, or a dry cloth or something. But nobody wants to get false readings, so that's outstanding.
Right. That's the very first thing I did when we started taking the straps off of your boat. I just looked over there, took a look at the angles were perfect on it, but just that traveling from Missouri down to Memphis, you're on your down imaging and your side imaging, that transducer was just covered with stuff. So
awesome.
Wipe them down.
That's a great tip. Okay, guys. I think that's going to do it for tonight. We're going to try to have Aaron Wheatley on next Monday night, and if we don't run too late, we'll get Jim Sparks on here from Bass and More. We're going to find out everything that we can find out about Monsters on the Ohio, and we're all looking forward to being down there. So thank you for tuning in tonight, and we'll see you next week.